everyone, my name is Julian Garcia. I'm a fruit tree specialist with City Fruit. Today we're in Seattle in the Central District and we'll be working with this beautiful Espalier cordon apple tree. First we'll be thinning the fruitlets, doing a little bit of thinning in the canopy to open it up a bit, and then throwing a net on it to protect the fruitlets this season. Let's go! So first things first, as you can see, this tree has already put on a decent amount of new growth. And so what we need to do is open up the canopy a little bit, make it a little bit less dense, a little bit less crowded. The net is going to be on the tree the whole season. So all the new growth that comes out between now and September, or whenever the apples are harvested, is going to create quite a bit of density. And so we're going to help the tree out a little bit, cut back some of this new growth. For instance, right here, where already like a foot of new growth has popped out, we're just going to take it back to a couple buds. So right there, right here, right here. And as you can see, it's already starting to open up, and this will really help the tree to not get too crowded, to not have all that new growth get super wonky and contorted all within the net. A little pro tip when you're thinning the new growth in your canopy, you can leave some horizontal growth like we did here. This horizontal growth will actually form fruit spurs more readily than the vertical growth will, which in turn, once it's built up over 2 years or more into fruiting wood, you can expect fruit spurs and fruit to start forming on this wood. Cool, so now that we've given the tree a bit of a haircut, thinned out some of the new growth, we're going to move on to fruitlet thinning. And so what we want to do is not have 5-6 fruitlets per bunch. You actually want to remove these fruitlets and take them down just to about 1 or 2 of the best looking ones. Voila. Like I mentioned, 1 or 2 fruitlets per bunch is what you're going to want to look for. Some people also say you can leave about a fist length in between fruitlets, and that'll give them enough space to develop and grow healthily. So now that we've got the fruitlets culled to just about 1 or 2 fruitlets per bunch, and the canopy overall thinned of its new growth to allow for more air circulation, allow for more light penetration to come through, which will help the fruitlets develop to be bigger, healthier fruit over the course of the season, we can now lay out our net and get it to cover the tree. So once you've gotten your net laid out, what you want to do is grab one of the corners, tie a huge knot there, and what that's going to help you do is it's going to give you a pocket so that you can lift that net up with a pole or a piece of bamboo. So you'll do that in each corner, and then you'll want to look for your center seam. So this seam is going to be centered down the course of the espalier, down the course of the trellis. So keep in mind where this is, and tie your corner knots. This particular net's a really tight fit over these trees, so we're going to come in and close up the sides as well as possible with zip ties and binder clips. Great, so I grabbed a friend, and using each of our poles, we put them in the corner of the net where we have our knots tied, raised it up, and then pulled it over the trellis. While doing so, we also made sure that the seam was centered over the top of the cordon. Now that we have the net secured at each of the posts as well as the trunks of the trees, we're now going to start to close up the open seams along the sides and the bottom. So what you want to do is grab each sides of the net, start to roll it in over itself, grab a binder clip, and secure it. Some people like to use clothesline pins, zip ties. I like binder clips because they last for a couple of years, maybe even 3 if you're lucky, and they're nice and strong. So what I'm going to do is just continue to roll the net in over itself, and do that all the way up. The other nice thing about binder clips is you can take them off pretty easily. So let's say you wanted to come in and prune this espalier halfway through the season, you could very easily do that, whereas with zip ties you would need to actually cut them off. Sweet, so we have our net on the espalier apple tree ready to go. It'll stay on the tree for the remainder of the season until the apples are ready to harvest. If you'd like, you can always take off your binder clips, your clothesline pins, and sample an apple, see if it's ready, but this needs to stay on until the apples are ready to harvest. So once that time comes, the net will come off, and then we'll do it again next year. Again, this is Julian with City Fruit, signing off. Thank you.